welcome back. And December 5 is International Volunteer Day. The International Volunteer Day for Social and Economic Development, established by the UN General Assembly to be commemorated every 5th of December every year, is about telling the world what volunteers and volunteer-involving organizations achieve for peace and sustainable development. Volunteerism can help build your capacity through dedicated volunteers sharing their knowledge and expertise with organizations they support. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon in his message said, when young people volunteer, the opportunity provides them with valuable life and job skills. It strengthens their capacity to lead and become engaged in their communities as well as global society. On this International Volunteer Day, let us renew our commitment to offering young people diverse and meaningful volunteer opportunities to become active and confident contributors to global change. So that is the vision of Ban Ki-moon, UN Secretary General. With me in the studio, let's talk about our country for a moment, is Frank Park Kumi, who is Executive Director, Passionate Africa. Hello, Frank.
Hi.
Two things are highlighted in Ban Ki-moon's statement. The fact that you as a person should want to volunteer, and the fact that the opportunity should also be created for you to volunteer. Let's talk about the individual spirit to want to volunteer. Assess it in Ghana.
Thank you very much, and I must say good afternoon to your cherished viewers. When I'm to give an independent, objective observation of volunteerism in Ghana, I would say it's very on a low scale, and probably the reason could be that when people volunteer, okay, they are doing that for society. However, they also expect that when opportunity comes, okay, people could, like a job, like an appointment, you know, one could visit one's volunteer work and say that, you know, years back, this is what you did for community, and therefore let's reward you, okay? And we will know, for instance, the President of the United States, Barack Obama, used to be a community organizer, okay, doing volunteer work, okay? So my question will be, does it pay to do volunteer work in Ghana? And it will be a big no. Because instead of people using that as a yardstick to open avenues, job opportunities, appointment into local government, etc., it does not pay. So can we create an incentive for people to do voluntary work for community organization?
How about, have we created the opportunity as a people? Have we created the avenue so that people can volunteer? Have we done that?
We have not. That's what I was just saying, that as a society, we have refused to recognize the role of volunteerism. To the extent that we are here and we have our friends from the United States, Canada, Australia, you know, coming to volunteer in communities. We know the issue of Cuban doctors, for instance. You know, you see them in the north, and Ghanaians, when some of us are even posted into the western region or the upper west, upper east, we don't go. However, we find Cuban doctors going as far as upper west in the northern regions. Okay, so as a people, we have refused to create that environment, put systems in place that will make volunteerism rewarding.
How can we reverse that trend?
It's by showing example, or by those who have, because there are a few people who still volunteers. Okay, so what has happened to them? Have society recognized them? As other people see those who have volunteered, the pioneers of those who volunteers and where it has landed them to, then it will also be a morale booster for other people to also wanting to volunteer or donate their skills or time, you know, without expecting monetary reward in return.
Why is it that people don't like to volunteer? Why? Let's look at national service, for instance.
That's right.
When people are posted to, like you were saying,
that's right,
to Nankpandore somewhere.
That's right.
I mean, you come back and say, oh, I don't want to go to Nankpandore. I want to be at some bank here in Accra.
That's right,
or something.
in Accra. That's
right. So why doesn't it seem as though we have an iota of the spirit of volunteerism in us as a Ghanaian people?
I think the issue would still be, at the end of the day, people are making comparison, okay? If the friend, a colleague is doing a national service, maybe with VRA or something. Some of these even oil companies, the allowance will be, let's say, the national allowance, let's say 250 Ghana. But when you go to some of these multinational companies, have about 500 Ghana or so.
So the economic situation has something to do with it.
Exactly. And then what have we put on the ground for people to go to?
But as a volunteer, I know you keep saying, what's the incentive? As a volunteer,
That's
do you
right.
need an incentive to be one? Do you need an incentive to be a volunteer?
You don't need an incentive, but let me remind you that recognition is key. So when we are saying that people are not expecting monetary reward in return, it doesn't mean that they don't expect recognition. And recognition or motivation comes in diverse ways, right? For me, for instance, after senior high school, I set up a foundation that goes to senior high schools, junior high schools, try to educate these young ones on career choices. We're supposed to have guidance and counseling session in our various institutions. It doesn't really work as it's supposed to work. Okay, so we took it upon ourselves to donate our time, skills, be in the villages.
Which is also volunteerism.
That's what we were doing.
I think people don't, maybe we don't understand what it means to volunteer. We probably think of something, we look at the big picture.
That's right.
We don't look at the little detail we could put in there to make the puzzle whole.
That's right.
And so let's look at it again.
Okay.
What is volunteerism?
I would say donating your time, resources for public good without necessarily being compensated by monetary terms.
And you shouldn't always expect government to...
That's right. And you shouldn't expect... I met a friend in Senegal, and he's a nurse, full-time nurse, and then he volunteers with a community organization that is into HIV/AIDS stuff. So in their part of, just Botswana here, okay, in their part of the world, it has become like a norm that you do your professional work and then yes, though, you donate to society. And I think that it's time we use this day to also push a strong voice out there that our professionals may be working 8 hours a day, but that does not, take away the fact that they can still...
The economic situation, though. The economic situation is tight. And so people will rather make some more money for themselves than go out there to volunteer. But on a more serious note, how can we imbibe volunteerism in the younger ones? Maybe some of us are too corrupt to reverse the trend.
Yeah, so we start with the
let's start with the younger ones.
That's
how
right.
can we make sure that they grow up better adults than we are?
Yeah, I think civic education, okay, because if we are able to teach them right from the onset that when you donate your time, your energies to the good of the nation, it's eventually come back to pay us, not in monetary terms, but of course, if society is better, let's mind you, we all become better at the end of the day, okay? But if society is not, like the place is stinking, with rubbish here and there, we are all passing by and sometimes closing our our nose or making some mockery of the whole situation.
Right.
You see, so I would say that civic education and then reward system for those who have volunteered for the nation.
Right.
It's still important.
Frank, we'll end it here for now. Thank you very much. I would like to say congratulations also to those who have volunteered here in the country over the years, but it's not too late to practice the spirit of volunteerism. And Frank Pakumi is Executive Director